Who has the loop-de-loo on it? You want me to keep it that way? Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Yeah. Cool.
Hey. No, I just had to turn my phone off and back on. It froze on me. It hasn't started yet. Yes, Ed.
Is that signal all good?
Yeah,
Because they
given-
just sent out a Facebook Live.
I'm giving the new stuff the call now.
They must know it's good because I just got.
An alert.
Everybody ready?
1 second, sorry.
1 second, okay.
Hello? Okay, right. Yep.
Was that the new desk?
Yeah, I think they've got it.
Okay, great.
I think we've
Everybody ready?
all communicated to all of our.
Okay. Sounds good. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ed Murray. I'm the Director of Public Relations for Lawrence County School District 55. I have a brief statement that I'd like to read, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can for you this morning. Okay. We are clearly concerned and saddened by the acts of violence that have impacted Lawrence District High School this week. Errors in judgment on the part of a small group of students have tainted the reputation of LDHS and Lawrence County School District 55. We have 1,580 plus students who have done the right thing this week, and they do not deserve to be painted with the same brush as the few who acted inappropriately. We do not expect behavior of this type from our students, but when it did occur on Tuesday and Thursday, our staff stepped in to stop each situation as quickly and as safely as possible. This doesn't mean we are not reviewing our procedures for supervision and student safety at the school. That is always an ongoing process, and we have identified several additional supervisory procedures that we will implement to ensure the continued safety and security of all our schools. With respect to the individual incidents and the students involved, each case is being investigated as to cause and effect. Rumors have been circulating about the arrest of one of our students and its connection to persistent bullying. We can assure the public and our parents that we take any report of bullying seriously and act quickly to address those situations. One of the reasons we are here today is because of the inappropriate and irresponsible use of social media that fueled the frenzy of fear in the public's mind. We understand that social media can be a positive influence, but when used carelessly, it can also do great harm. We would ask our students and our community to exercise due diligence in checking the facts before spreading a story. Even when videos seem to provide a clear picture, they can fail to provide the full context of a situation. As a district, we welcome inquiries from our parents regarding events in our schools, and we will always do our best to respond as quickly and as factually as possible. We would like to thank the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department for their rapid response to our needs and for their presence on campus this morning to ensure a smooth start on this final day of school this week. We would also like to thank the many parents who reached out to get the facts from us and who subsequently offered their support. The safety and security of our schools is a #1 priority. But teaching and learning is equally important, and we chose not to allow unsubstantiated rumors to deter us from our duties and responsibilities. We will, however, remain vigilant throughout the day today and in the weeks ahead of us. Finally, I would personally like to thank the news media for their patience as we have tried to sort through the activities of the week. In the interest of privacy concerns and the steps in the investigative process, we cannot always provide the information the media would like in the time frame of their broadcasts. But they have been very professional and patient in my dealings with them this week. We certainly hope that in the future we will be able to share the many wonderful things that our students do here in Lawrence County School District 55. Thank you.
Are you open for questions?
I am open for questions.
It was pretty obvious just standing on the outside that there were some parents uneasy this morning. Parking lot looked a little empty. Can you speak to attendance and what your hope is for parents feeling comfortable next week?
We did not have a full complement of students at school today. Many parents did choose to keep their children at home. I would say that today was probably the safest day in the history of Lawrence District High School, with the presence of the Sheriff's Department and district office staff and everybody there. So the students there are, safe and secure and doing their lessons as they're supposed to be doing. We will continue to provide whatever presence is necessary as we move forward to ensure the safety of the school.
Can you kind of talk about any action that's been taken, of course, at this point, any expulsions for those who are involved in the fight?
Certainly there have been suspensions and recommendations for expulsion depending on the individual student circumstances, which I can't discuss the individual students. You're all aware, of course, of the one student with the weapon and what's going on with her. Those are situations where, because they are privacy issues dealing with individual students who are minors, I can't reveal a lot of information about that, but I can say that anybody who was involved in a fight at the very least received a suspension of some sort.
You have one SRO currently at the school, correct?
Correct.
Do you think that'll be enough moving forward, or temporarily do you think you'll have an added presence there?
I believe if we request an added presence there from the Sheriff's Department, that they'll be happy to provide that for us, but we believe that some of the steps that we'll be taking in terms of shoring up gaps in supervision with staff members and doing things that we have in-house will also address that issue. So we're confident that the security of the school is being taken care of as we move forward.
Were there any attendance issues today?
The attendance was not what it normally is. We did have quite a few students who chose to stay home today, but the vast majority of students who were there are going on with their lessons as usual.
Will they be reprimanded for not attending today, those students that didn't show?
Well, we are required by law to record their attendance, but nobody's going to get in trouble for that. And if a student has an attendance issue at some point in the future, if this is a day that was causing that attendance problem, we would certainly take that into consideration.
What additional, I don't want to say charges because that's not your scheme of things, but what additional I guess punishments or disciplinary action can be taken for somebody making a threat about bringing a firearm?
Well, if we can identify the person who made the threat, then they are subject to discipline up to and including expulsion. So that would most likely be what would happen, would be a recommendation for expulsion for somebody who did that if we are able to identify that person.
Is the school investigating who that person is?
Yes, it's an ongoing investigation. Excuse me?
How are you doing that?
Talking to other students, trying to identify the original source of the rumors.
And if you can say, do you know if there could be a legal or a legal issue if a person is making terrorist threats along those lines, or if it's just a rumor?
I would have to consult attorneys to identify that, or the Sheriff's Office to identify the legal ramifications of that. From a school discipline standpoint, it is an offense that we can take action up to the level of expulsion if somebody does submit a threat like that.
And the girl with the knife, did she ever come forward or complain about bullying or being bullied?
That situation was not a situation that was prompted by bullying. We are not aware in her particular case of any reports of bullying, although we have seen in social media since the event that there are people who were saying that she was. That was not anything that was brought to our attention prior to the event.
What kind of processes do you have in place if a student is being bullied?
If a student is being bullied and that is brought to our attention, we will bring the students that are involved in, we will bring the parents in, we will have conversations, we will try and resolve whatever conflict exists between the students and advise them and counsel them as necessary to reduce the issue to ongoing business at school.
What if what if it can't come to a clean resolution? What would you then do after that? Or do you know?
Yeah, I mean, that would be on a case-by-case basis. We'd look at what is the best course of action for those individual students involved. It may be that they might be in a class together, and it could be a simple solution, as simple as separating them, putting one student in another class. But it just depends on the individual situation and what course of action we would take.
And you let people know about the fight that happened in the lunchroom. Why not disclose the fight that happened in the bathroom between the two students?
Honestly, I didn't get that information correctly yesterday. So that's something I'm going to be working on as Director of Public Relations, is making sure that if and when we do have an incident, which I hope we never have again, but that I get accurate information in order to report it out. So that one was on me, that didn't get out there. Okay.
The Sheriff's Office told 7 News this morning that there is reason to believe that these events are related. Can you speak to that they spiraled?
There is nothing that I'm aware of that relates to two cases.
Kind of just on a personal level, you talked about how the actions of few aren't a representation, a fair representation of Lawrence 55. Can you kind of talk about how that's been for you this week? I mean, with the school in such a spotlight because of a few people?
Well, it's obviously been challenging because I'm new to the district this year. I just came here on July 1st, and I tell everybody every day that every day in Lawrence 55 is a great day. And even this week, with all of this going on, I still feel the same way, that this is a wonderful school district to work in. I believe we have wonderful students here. I believe we can do a lot of good things here, and that's what we're going to continue to work towards as we move forward.
My last thing for you, do you know if a robocall of any sort went out to parents last night?
Dr. Peters, from what I understand, did put out a call alert to everyone last night. I did not. I've got to add myself to that call alert list because I didn't get it, but I had, of course, talked to Dr. Peters previously, and he had indicated he was going to do a call alert last night, and I believe he's also done a call alert this morning to parents after school started.
And would that call alert this morning just be that the morning went smoothly?
Exactly right. That just letting everybody know that everything's fine at school.
You talked about the student attendance today, kind of less great than it should have been, but still okay. What about the staff and teachers?
The staff we had all of our staff on hand today.
Did you do any additional security sweeps with dogs or anything like that through the school before?
With dogs?
Yeah, I think I saw a canine unit, so I was just curious if they just happened to be there.
Not that I'm aware of.
Is there anything you'd like to say to students who think fighting is the answer?
I would say to all those students that we're trying to help you learn how to communicate, and this is an area that we can help you with. If you communicate with us and let us know what's going on, we will help you resolve whatever situations you are involved in, good or bad, whatever they may be. We are here to help you get an education. We are here to help you develop your character as an individual, and to help you learn how to resolve conflict in an effective way.
Last question, Ed. There's added security on campus today. Are you all planning to keep that moving into next week? Or?
We'll evaluate that and talk with the Sheriff's Department about that and see what we need to do moving forward. Dr. Peters will lead that effort.
Do you guys have any plans for anything different next week?
Other than the changes that we're looking at within our system and processes, no. We're going to make sure that we're vigilant, obviously, and hyper-vigilant for the next few weeks to make sure that everything stays in good stead. But we believe we're on the right track, and these are isolated incidents in an isolated week, and I'm not going to attribute anything to the full moon, but that's that's certainly always a factor that people talk about. But no, we believe that we can move forward and continue to do good things and address these issues. And the one thing we would ask is that parents and students communicate with us and let us know if they're having any kinds of problems or are concerned about any issues that they may have. They can call me directly. They can call Dr. Peters' office, and we will do everything we can to make sure their concerns are addressed.
And kind of random, what's the cell phone policy at Lawrence 55?
Students are allowed to have their cell phones. They are allowed to use them. They shouldn't be using them in class during instruction, but otherwise there is no policy against them having them on campus.
before you go, would you mind saying and spelling your name for us?
My name is Edward Murray, EDWARD-MURRAY.
And then your exact title, sir.
I am the Director of Administrative Services, District Athletics, and Public Relations.
I don't know if we can put that all on
I
the
don't know if
screen,
you
but
can.
it sounds good.
Yeah. Dr. Peters just calls me his Chief of Staff, so I don't think he can say the whole title.
Ed, I've got one final question. Based on the fact that there are fights in high schools every day across the country, I know Tuesday's incident was different because a weapon was involved. But going forward, knowing that there's going to be fights in Lawrence District High School next week, there's going to be at Eastside High School, other high schools. Do you find it necessary to inform parents and report every time there's a fight at a high school?
I don't believe so, because I believe most of our parents do recognize that we are dealing with teenagers whose emotional well-being is not fully developed yet. And you know, this week was certainly an exceptional situation because of the way the week started. So that event on Tuesday kind of increased the value of yesterday's event exponentially. But also the fact that we had two different fights going on at the same time yesterday was also a factor in that. But normally, no, you know, staff is on hand. If there is a fight that breaks out, you know, hopefully we're going to be proactive and prevent a fight, because we're going to notice, you know, an argument going on or something else happening in terms of student body language or something else that tells us something's about to happen and we can intervene. But when it does happen, we're there to also break that fight up as quickly as possible and deal with the students on an individual basis to make sure that the proper discipline is administered and that the cause and effect of the fight is dealt with as well.
Are you holding any school-wide efforts, like, you know, I forget what they're called, I'm too old, any student-wide meetings to talk about the issue of bullying or violence in schools?
That's certainly something that we'll look at moving forward. That's something we'll be having a cabinet meeting with Dr. Peters on Monday morning, and I'm sure some of those things are going to be a topic of conversation for us in that meeting. Anything else? Well, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
I was going to email a copy of the statement to all of my media contacts. If you want me to email it to you specifically, you know, give me your email address and I'll make sure you're.
Mind if I take a quick photo of it?
Yeah,
That
can
way
I
I don't
do
have
that?
to wait.
Yeah,
Is that
this
okay?
is the big version.
Okay, I'll just do,
Here, you want me to set them on the table?
yeah, let's do that.
I think we're all live at noon. The time is
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But I am going right back to my office and I'll send it out as a press release to all the media contacts.
Hey, John Clayton.
Nice to meet you.
The advertiser.
Oh, okay, okay. Nice to meet you, John.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, no. Really,
And I really do appreciate all of your patience this week. I know you guys were